Hello everyone, Dan 14th Prime here. Want to do a video share out today with you guys with the Hot Toys Star Wars Bespin Princess Leia, as seen in Star Wars The Empire Strikes Back. I picked this figure up from Sideshow. Link down in the description below. For any of your collectibles shopping, I've got links to Sideshow, Amazon, eBay down below. Any shopping of those links supports the channel, no cost to you, and I do very much appreciate that. With the figure currently being in stock, it was actually available with free shipping and eligible for a $25 coupon. So a pretty good deal. We've got a very simple pack out on this figure, so I'm taking some time to show you through the box. But definitely be sure to follow me on Instagram, same handle Dan14th Prime, which is where I'll typically have all of my unboxing and early previews. And I have to say, once you get into the tray, it's got to be the simplest pack out I've ever seen from Hot Toys. Just the figure, only 2 extra hands, and behind her, the diorama display. All right, let's jump in closer and check this figure out. So here's the young Carrie Fisher, Princess Leia out of the box, again in her Cloud City Bespin gear. It is such a simple figure. In all honesty, I wasn't exactly excited for the figure, which is why I waited to purchase it in stock and on deal. But as someone who's collecting Hot Toys Star Wars and focusing on Empire Strikes Back, not that I want to be a total completionist, but I felt I'd regret it later when Han, Chewie, and the rest of the Bespin crew arrive, and if she wasn't there. So really grabbed her for that reason, to kind of be a complement within a broader display scene. And until that time that these other figures finally come, which they've been teasing for so long, she'll probably be sitting on the display sidelines. But that's just my personal preference given the character, the scene, and the figure. Overall, the figure relies heavily on some soft goods and is very nice, I'll call it dress gown, what have you, which drapes over a very simple underneath outfit. And there's some beautiful stitching and detailing and patterns across this gown. And up top, I think we get a pretty good head sculpt. It's a decent likeness of Carrie Fisher. I think the sculpted hair looks good. Kind of one of these solid but not spectacular figures overall. If we jump in closer and just focus on the top half of the figure, and starting with the head sculpt, you'll see they do a decent job, I think, with the softness of her face. I think the skin tone is pretty good, but the expression is very blah. It leaves you wanting a bit for the wit and the energy that the character did have in the movies. And moving down from the head, you'll see, again, just nice stitch work here through this, again, gown, I'll call it. Probably not the right term, but some nice stitch work through there. Some pleats down into the draping pieces of it, and stitch work down, nice detailing down into the sides. Kind of comes out of the box laying a little wonky. I'm sure it just needs to be kind of played with to be a little more form-fitting, a little poofy out of the box. And again, the underneath here, looks like that's all kind of sewed together, but pretty simple outfit there. Just sort of like a throw over, I don't know, dress with a belt. And then just coming down the bottom half of the figure here, it's largely the undersuit that you see there. And you can check out kind of the matching flat shoes. And again, just all of this nice pattern detailing all the way down the front of that. And let's just take a pan down the side. Again, I like this sculpted hair. You even kind of see coming off the ear there, as well as the back. Put her arm up, by the way, just a smidge, so you can really just take in the pattern that's coming down this dress cloak. Really, really looks nice. It's the highlight of the figure. All the way down to the ground, really. Just short of the ground. You see her shoes peeking out underneath. And then around back of the figure here, we see the best of the sculpted hair there, just with that design. Very elaborate hairstyle that she wore. Looks really good. More of the nice stitching up through the shoulders, and then again, down into the draping cloak. It's kind of stitched up here and brought in. It still feels like it could sit a bit better, so maybe gravity and just sort of being out will help with that. Again, the pattern. And then below here, it's stitched as well together here just to keep it sort of tight and not drifting out too widely at the base. Let me just get you into this, again, this cloak gown sort of thing. You can see it's got a sheer panel stitched on the inside where you get to the back of it. So a nice touch there. Appears to be some kind of wiring in the base of it at least. It's definitely holding some positions there, as well as being just stitched together a bit tighter. But really no other wiring in terms of posing this otherwise than the bottom to help you just sort of manage the fit and flow down the figure. But definitely look at some of that stitch work there. Call it stitch work, but it seems like it's probably just printed on there, I would guess. Still looks very good. Mock stitch work. The big accessory with the figure here is the diorama display base. It's really just your typical base here. There's a cover to get this special top design, the crotch grabber, and then you basically have this background. So she'll sit on this, whatever, something like that. And if I didn't mention, I have the lighting low so I don't overexpose the white background. So intentionally kind of showing us a bit darker, because hopefully you're picking up the detail and it's just like all vertically aligned and then a couple of panels here, almost like snowflake looking things. I don't know. But if you come here, it just magnetizes onto the back like this. Maybe that gets you a better shot of the detailing. It's basically like a stamped piece of plastic filled with styrofoam. So from a quality perspective, Hot Toys displays often let us down, and it's no exception here. Pretty cheap looking thing, but I don't know, I guess it'll be okay for display. Then turn the lights back up a bit. That's what you get underneath there. Very nice sort of ivory looking with some gold trim there. So just part of the Bespin floor. And again, this is a cover. So if you take that off, you get more of the traditional Star Wars themed base underneath if you want to just match up with stuff. Star Wars Princess Leia nameplate there on the front. And then finally here, in terms of accessories, the hands on the figure, these are what comes on the figure, just sort of like a soft, almost like ready to handshake sort of look to the hand. And then the two swap out hands here, and for whatever reason, they're slightly different. The right hand here, a bit of a tighter closed grip, and the left hand here, a bit of a wider closed grip. So I don't know what that's about. Maybe this is Han handjob hand, and this is Chewie handjob hand. Don't know.
Laugh it up, fuzzball.
And then finally here, because we all want explosive articulation out of Princess Leia, overall it's good enough, as you can see. Really all the directions advised is to just be careful sort of turning the head, but it's not really restricted in any way. Watch the hair. You know, she'll look down pretty well. Looking up, you'll be a little more careful. But, you know, there's nothing on this figure to really restrict how it will move, right? So you get pretty much your action figure articulation underneath there. You know, it's a female body, so super thin, flimsy kind of feeling. Typical stuff at the hand. There's a bit of crunch there, and also down at the waist. Again, there's some twist at the waist. It could be a bit more there. A little limited there. Not unusual with Hot Toys these days. But you can get a little bit up top as well, so you can kind of twist like that. You know, it's fine. Overall, I would say. Going out, you know, no issues there. Same with going forward. You know, the suit doesn't really restrict anything. There's not really much by way of swivel up there. It's just a little bit of 5-degree maybe tweak you can do. Double jointed knee, and then it looks like kind of the typical stuff at the ankle down there. Nothing special. So, you know, kind of all around, just solid what you'd expect to be there. Certainly anything you would need is there. So there you have it, guys. Star Wars Empire Strikes Back, Bespin Princess Leia. If you're collecting Star Wars, you're going to want to give this figure a look. If you're focusing on like Empire Strikes Back like me, you're pretty much obliged to pick it up probably. Again, links down in the description below, Sideshow, Amazon, eBay. Any collectible shopping, you do those links. It just supports the channel, no cost to you. And I do very much appreciate that. Once again, check me out on Instagram, same handle, Dan14Prime. And yeah, for me, happy I picked the figure up. I think it does a good enough job all the way around. Obviously, the cloak there, cloak gown, is the highlight of the figure, and they did fantastic workmanship with it, with stitching all the way down to the pattern stitching and detailed design. You know, the display is a nice add. It's a pretty simple throw in, and I think it works. But again, for me, not necessarily a center display piece by herself. It's more of a compliment, and you need to get those other Bespin figures on PO Hot Toys, because I do think she'd look great within a broader lineup of that franchise. All right, guys, thanks for checking in on this Hot Toys Star Wars share out video. I'll see you next time.